Hi, I'm Schloppentoten.
I'm double negative.
You might remember us from the time we gave up on Rhode Island.
Fuck Rhode Island.
This is Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I love this game.
I've never played the game.
Well, we're going to start a new game, and we're going to go through some pretty fancy character creation.
I see we're wearing hot pants.
Look at this precious boy. This is who we're going to be playing as. But, like, with some differences.
Hot pants and half a pair of socks. Great.
No matter what, you get some short shorts. That's just like commonplace. You're not getting rid of those.
Natural.
Put it in nice blue. We can't really see the faces from here, so we're gonna zoom in a little bit and take a look at these precious, precious faces.
Oh god.
Yeah, we're gonna play as a dude. There's no statistical difference between men and women in Monster Hunter, so play what you want. You can add facial features. I don't recommend it. They almost never look good. There's a bunch of hair choices, but we're gonna go with the best one.
Yes, I see.
And we have to be fancy, so it's going to be pink.
Well, naturally.
And I'm also gonna go with voice 4 because I feel it is the Monster Hunter voice. But what would you feel is a good name for this guy? Because we got to put in a name first. It cannot be offensive, illegal, or personal. That could be bad. So let's not do that.
There's a name that keeps coming to mind, and I know it's not Groot, but that's the only thing that I'm thinking of right now.
How about Steak?
I like Steak.
I too like Steak, and when we get to the file screen, you may notice a theme.
I wonder what the theme is.
So we're gonna overwrite an old file that isn't even mine, and I'm gonna fucking just get on into it.
All right. Steak enters the world.
So, Double Negative, would you agree that earthquakes are bad?
Earthquakes are very bad.
Okay, I'm glad we've come to terms with that. So, earthquakes caused by shifting of the tectonic plates, right?
Yes.
Wrong. Caused by large monsters. Uh, hey, we've come to Moda Village to hunt some things, and they have a problem with a thing called a Lodiacris, and they just the village chief just mentioned it. He believes it's causing the earthquakes by doing some bad shit.
At least they're not caused by giants bowling, I suppose.
Alright, so, yeah, they're like, hey, we're not having a good time over here with these earthquakes, so we need a hunter. That's where you come in. We work for something called the Hunters Guild.
At least we're starting off as a hunter, I suppose, instead of a hunter apprentice.
Well, you may notice that we're not actually wearing the clothes we were wearing in character creation. We're actually wearing a set of leather armor.
I was gonna say, I do notice a lack of hot pants.
And now we just got skinny jeans. In Monster Hunter Tri, you didn't start with a set of armor. You started with just the clothes you had on in character creation, and you had to make your own stuff or buy your own stuff. Tri Ultimate, or 3 Ultimate, gives you a set of leather armor and one of every weapon.
That sounds a whole lot better, to be honest.
Yeah, and so in a little bit, we're like, once we finish talking to everyone here, I mean, if you're gonna start saying that, you know, hey, you're the hunter, cool, everything's closed, so we can't actually do anything here in Moto Village yet. But eventually, we'll be able to. And it's
One of
important.
those... Go ahead.
Is
it... Ah!
Go on.
I was gonna ask if it's one of those games where all the different, like, not villages, shit, like shops and whatever opens up slowly across the course of it, or is it all at once?
Stuff opens up in here pretty quickly, but the main thing is going to be upgrading them. But anyway, let's take a look at weapons real quick. Like I said, we got one of each. We got a great sword, a long sword, a sword and shield, which we have equipped, dual blades, a hammer, a hunting horn, a lance, a gun lance, a switch axe, both types of bow gun, and a bow.
There are 2 types of bow guns?
Heavy and light bow guns. But we're going to equip the hunting horn. And we're going to actually sell a few of these weapons because we don't need all of them. I already know which ones I like. We'll be playing around with some of the other weapons later on, but mainly right now we're going to switch to hammer, hunting horn, and switch axe.
And what does a hunting horn do?
You kill things by playing music. But also you use it as a literal percussion instrument.
Is that a set of bagpipes on top of it?
That is a metal bagpipe.
Alright then.
And you'll get to see us use it later in the episode.
I'm excited for this.
Hunting horns are pretty fucking great. We're going to be using this one for a pretty good while. Mainly because hunting horn, each individual one has a list of songs you play to do certain things, and that actually determines what kind of combos you're going to use. And like I said, each one changes that, so we're going to be holding on to this one for a while, because the starting hunting horn is pretty good.
Are all the different starting weapons pretty good, like in a Dark Souls style, or is it kind of like Dragon's Dogma, where they're not great?
Well, I would say the starting weapons, yeah, they'll hold you for a little good while, but you know, the upgrades in this game come pretty quick.
Okay.
But the upgrades you get are still pretty good. There's a good sense of progression on them.
Well, that's good. Nothing's worse than finding the ultimate weapon halfway through the game and not being able to upgrade anymore.
Well, I mean, this game features a pretty complex upgrade tree for every weapon. So I don't know the exact number, so I'm just gonna throw a general figure out here. There's a metric shit ton of weapons in this game.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, yeah, I said there was, you know, quite a few different types we just saw. There's a lot of them. Usually, Usually every time you hunt a big monster, you'll be able to make something out of it.
Okay, I have to ask, is this NPC's name Nico means cat?
Yes, it is.
His literal name is Nico, means cat.
But he insists it means tiger.
Okay.
And I love this cat. He's the greatest. And he's so great, in fact, that in the most recent Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Generations, or Monster Hunter Cross in Japan, he is back as a permanent fixture.
All right.
And, oh my god, I love this cat. I'm not even a cat person. This game makes me love cats. So, Nitro Means Cat will take us to the multiplayer area, Port Tanzia. In Monster Hunter 3, it was Lote Lake, and that's not present in 3 Ultimate. They changed it. And we can go there solo, or we can go there with friends. But here's how Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate does its tutorial, and I kind of hate it. So basically, the modded chief is going to tell us, or some other NPC is going to tell us, like, hey, go do this, here's how you do it, and then he'll be like, hey, here's how you do the thing he just told you to do. So right now we only have access to 3 areas of the deserted island, which is also called the Moga Woods. It's this pretty place.
It is pretty. Let's see, that map looks familiar. It looks like one of the 3DS demos I played.
You may have played the demo for this game. But I'm actually playing this on the Wii U, because it also came out on that. Alright, so, Hunting Horn. Neat thing you can do with it is if you play the light attack note twice, and then hit the R button to perform it, it increases your movement speed. And if you do it again, it gives you attack deflection. And every single Hunting Horn in the game has that.
That's pretty handy.
Alright, so basically right now he's telling us, hey, you have a touchscreen on your Wii U gamepad. All your shit can be put on there, including your health and the map and everything. So, if you wanted to, you could have absolutely nothing on the top screen.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Alright, so, right now we're just here to find the Moda Chief's son. He's looking for, he's looking at the base camp. So, we're going to talk to him here in a second. But first, we need to get him some meat.
So we're going to beat up some peaceful dinosaurs to do that.
Yes, we are. So, it only took 2 hits to take one of those things down. Basically, what he's telling us here is that anytime we kill something, if we put our weapon away and stand over it, we can carve things off of it.
Do the corpses despawn?
After a short amount of time. Or after you carve everything. It's either or.
So it's something you gotta be on top of.
Yeah, and I mean, smaller, weaker monsters are in pretty generous supply, so you don't have to worry too much. And it gives you a good amount of time. You gotta really be slacking off to miss out on it, but you can miss out on it. So those gave us raw meat. We only need 1, but we got 4, I think, total. So I pull out my weapon here. When you have the speed boosts buff from the Hunting Horn, you actually move about as fast as you do when you have the Sword and Shield drawn. And the Sword and Shield is the fastest weapon in the game.
That's pretty cool.
So our base camp's not looking too great.
It's looking pretty run down.
Yeah, it looks like the earthquake's kind of torn it up. But that's okay. We'll see about fixing it here in a second.
Gonna be able to turn into a giant, well, not giant, but a thing with all the amenities we could ever need.
Sort of. Basically, when you start a quest in this game, and we'll get to that later in the video, the base camp has a bed, a delivery box, a supply box, and that's more or less it. And that's really all you need to get started in any quest.
Seems like they could put like a tannery or something there. I don't know if you could tan monster hides or whatever, but it seems like it should be there.
Well, that's really not not what we're going to be here for. Pretty much this is just the jumping off point for quests.
Okay.
So we'll be here a lot in the future. I'm thinking my buff ran out, so I'm just playing it, but it turns out it didn't. So we're gonna walk our way back down to the bottom of Area 1, and you see it on the map there. That is the gate to Moda Village, and when we go out on a free hunt like we're on now, to return to town we can go through there to finish up. On a free hunt we have infinite time, so we don't have to worry about running out of time and failing a mission or anything like that. We can just go do anything we want for as long as we want.
Do big monsters appear in free hunt?
After a certain period, yes.
Okay.
But not on these.
Of course not.
Alright, so we're back at the gate. And this is like the most obvious thing is to say like, hey, press A to do the thing it says to do on screen. It's like, thanks. Glad you told me that.
At least they're explaining it. I'm sure for at least one person they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean the main thing is he tells you like immediately after saying that he's like, also come back and see me, because I got something for you, and like you may just skip by that part and not remember to talk to the Moda Chief, and that would be bad because you would miss out on some free money.
Free money is always helpful.
So this is a Capcom game. What do you suspect the money is called?
Zenny.
It's totally Zenny.
I saw the Z pop up earlier, so I knew it had to be Zenny.
Alright, so we got a barbecue spit, so now we can roast our raw meat that we got.
Cool.
Also, when the game came out, it came with a DLC pack that was free. All the DLC in this game is free, by the way. And it gave us 5,000 resources to start off with. So normally what you would have to do is you would have to go out on a free hunt, kill some things, come back to Junior, and report it to him. And he would generate resources depending on how much you took down. But because we started with that DLC pack, we don't have to worry about that. We can just skip it.
That's very handy, actually.
So we're going to talk to the artisan here. He's trying to tell us that he will upgrade our stuff. But we gotta get him some iron ore first.
Okay. And are there just like resource nodes out in the world you can tap?
Yep. Yeah. When we go back out, we're actually going to get access to a few more areas.
Okay. I expect the map will get much bigger as the game progresses.
Oh yeah. By the end of this video, we will have full access to the Moda Woods.
Oh hell. So you mentioned earlier we got a barbecue spit. Does cooking food like give you any bonuses or?
You may have noticed our health and stamina bar up in the top left corner.
Yeah.
Those are baseline 100 health and 100 stamina. The numbers there are pretty simple. Eating a well done steak, which is the perfectly cooked one, which I wholly disagree with.
Yeah.
But eating a well done steak will give you 50 additional stamina.
Okay.
But we're gonna cook one and not eat it because we don't really need it right now. But you do get to get introduced to one of the best parts of Monster Hunter. He told us to check out this brazier. Hey, if you checked it out, you did a torch. You don't need torches anymore. In Monster Hunter 3, there's some areas that were super dark and you needed a torch to see, but really you don't in this game. Also, the lighting effect looks kind of bad.
Yeah, it clicked right into the ground.
But let's cook the steak.
It doesn't look like a steak. It looks like a Flintstone-style dinosaur bone.
Yeah!
Tasty!
And I promise you, I didn't add that in post. That plays every time you cook the steak.
So tasty.
Yeah, if you cook it perfectly, a little voice comes up and says, "So tasty."
All right then.
So yeah, there's cats here, but we're gonna leave them alone.
They look like they're fishing.
Yeah, the Moda Chief said that Area 4 is a good place to mine, and that's because it's a cave.
Well, naturally.
I mean, generally you find ore in places that it would naturally be, such as, in caves or underwater. And see, even here, it doesn't really help that much to have the torch out.
No.
Torches are crap, and we'll probably never use them. Oh, see that?
The pink thing?
It's very, very hard to see ore vein. And we got the one piece of iron ore we needed, but hey, we're gonna gather a little bit more because we got this sweet pickaxe.
Do the veins ever exhaust?
Yes, they do. And some ore veins will respawn after a short amount of time, usually about 5 minutes.
That's not too bad.
Alright, so that one only had one, and it disappears. My ore vein. But we're wearing a set of leather armor, which gives us armor skills that are great for gathering. And instead of leveling up, or things like that in Monster Hunter, you actually get your perks and everything from what set of armor you're wearing. And I'll go more into in depth with that once I get my first like really good set of armor. But like that'll probably be about 2 videos from now.
What the hell did you just smash?
Oh, that's a small little like leech thing called a Giggy.
All right.
But yeah, back on armor skills. Basically, this armor set gives us the skills gathering +1, speed gathering, and I think woodsman. Meaning our pickaxes and bud nets will break less, will break less often. We gather faster, and we can gather more per node.
That's super handy.
So we're going to be keeping the set of leather armor around for a while, even if we're not going to be using it all the time. Mainly just because that makes gathering in the early game really easy. So I recommend, if you're playing this game for the first time, don't sell your set of leather armor after you're done with it. Because even in the way later missions, you will need it.
And I assume you can like improve the leather armor to make the bonuses even higher later on.
Well, you can improve it with things called armor spheres, and those will increase the defensive bonus. They don't give you any additional skill points.
That sucks.
That's okay though, because there's a thing that will give you more skill points. There's actually a couple things that will give you more skill points.
Okay.
And later on, we'll be able to craft a better set of leather armor, which will give us more or less the same bonuses, but with much, much more defense. Okay, so we got the one piece of iron ore requested. We actually had 7, so that brought us down to 6, and that's a pretty good amount for this first little tutorial of that area.
It's kind of shitty he doesn't give you back the piece though.
Yeah, I mean, iron ore is a dime a dozen in this game, so...
Okay.
I mean, later on in the game, we'll have so much of it, it will not even be funny.
Just be vendoring it to get rid of it for other inventory spaces.
Well, we want to keep a lot of stuff, and there's a good reason for that, and it's because a lot of things in this game can be combined with other stuff to make different things. Like, for example, if you find a mystery bone, you can combine it with a piece of iron ore to make an iron pickaxe.
Okay.
And so, eventually we'll be largely self-sufficient. Probably won't be doing a whole lot of buying, but early on we're going to need some extras any.
Does the game have like an equip load system where you...
It does not. You have an inventory pouch, which has 3 pages of I think 6 or 7 slots each.
So you'll still need to make use of like the storage chest.
Yeah, the storage chest is basically there to get rid of like I say, you don't need to be carrying around like junk.
10,000 iron ore.
Yeah, every item in the game has a sort of cap on how much you can carry. There is no such limit in place in the storage box.
I guess the big question: does crafting use the storage box?
You can craft directly out of the storage box.
That is super handy.
All right, so this is our farm, and I say our farm is because we own it now. It's ours.
Sweet.
Like
That's
they say
nice
they use it for everyone else, but I honestly I honestly think I use it about 1,000,000 times more than they do.
It's a pretty nice farm too.
So hey, we also get a cat and a pig.
No, mice won't be a problem.
And what would you say the purpose of the pig is?
I couldn't begin to guess knowing this game.
Well, give us a second and we'll get there. But first, let's give them a mushroom to multiply. Basically, certain things should be given to the farm hands to cultivate them, and you'll get more back than you put in. Obviously, you usually give them one, you'll get somewhere around 5 to 7 times as much per multiplication period. And every time you go out on a quest, it'll refresh. And that includes going out on a free hunt. So we set it for 3 cycles, so 3 quests or 3 forays into the Moda Woods from now will be done.
That sounds pretty handy for the early game.
Yeah, but well, I mean, even in the later game, you're going to be using this all the time. And they give you lots of ways to do it, even if you're in Port Tanzia.
I'm sorry, is that pig's ass bandaged?
It's wearing a diaper.
Alright then.
It's wearing a diaper and a crown.
Princess Pig.
Okay, so, you weren't quite able to guess what the pig's... Oh, first things first, let's change Chicory's name to something else. There's a lot of choices. There's 50 choices for what you can name this cat. And there's a lot of good ones. They're mostly based around, like, plants. For example, Chicory is a plant. But we're gonna name him Tater.
I was gonna say Tater's the best one.
Alright, and also, here's a pig. It's Poogie.
Is the pig the mascot?
It is the mascot of my heart.
Fair enough. Pink Buns, please, Pink Buns.
I would name it Dr. Ham.
Even better.
Alright, also, make sure you pet your pig frequently. Snuggle with that pig.
It is a pretty adorable pig. It's got a little bow on its head.
If you don't do that, a lot of people who play this game, a lot of people believe if you don't pet your pig on a regular basis, the other superstition that this game has, the desire sensor, will be meaner to you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, people believe that there is a thing called the desire sensor, which if you want things more, it gives it to you less. And people also believe you can influence the desire sensor by petting Poogie.
That's just called the RNG being spiteful.
And the director of this game actually says there's no such thing as a desire sensor, but I don't believe that at all. I played this game for like 300 something hours. I've played Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate for like 1,000,000 billion years. The desire sensor is very real, my friend.
Can we swim?
Yes, we can.
I was gonna say, because there's a lot of water on that map now.
Yeah, we're actually going to be going to Area 11, which is entirely underwater.
Do we have a breath meter?
Breath meter, yeah. If you look over near my name there, where it's got state, the vertical meter next to that is our air meter.
Lovely.
There are certain armor skills that can increase the amount of air you have. There are such things as negative armor skills. Usually they're put on as trade-offs for very powerful armor skills. So there are some armor skills that if we have enough negative points in them, it will actually decrease the amount of air we have.
Wow.
There's other stuff that can also make it where, like, we either drain less stamina when running or drain more stamina when running. Or, there's stuff like that you got to take into account when you're looking into new armor sets, and there's ways to mitigate that. And when I explain armor skills in depth, I will totally, definitely go into that. Also, these are jaggy. They're pricks. I hate them. And by pricks, I mean they're the greatest, and by I hate them, I mean I love them.
He wants to say hello to you.
They all want to say hello to me, and when they do, they bite me, and it sucks.
Wants to kiss you with his teeth.
Yeah, it's great that they want to say hi so much, especially when you're trying to carve something else and you don't clear them out beforehand, because then they all say hi at the same time and prevent you from carving.
They're such friendly monsters.
Pressing R will play a song, pressing R again while you're playing the song will play an encore. And that means you can play the same song twice in rapid succession, and also hitting an enemy of any type with the encore does a lot of damage, because the hunting horn is a very high damage weapon. You may have also noticed that when we hit the Jaggy in the face, it had flashed a sort of yellow flash and made a sort of sound. Hitting a monster in the head enough with a blunt weapon like the hunting horn or the hammer will stun them. Every hit to the head does stun damage, and you know you're hitting them in the head if it makes that sound.
Alright, that stands to reason, yeah.
But anyway, let's go to Area 10. Area 10 is mostly water.
It's a pretty beach.
It's a nice beach. We will be here a lot.
Gotta soak up them rays.
Yosh!
Junior's like, hey, you can swim.
Thanks, Junior.
So swimming, you move in the direction your camera is facing. So if you want to move up, or if you want to swim upwards, you point the camera up. If you want to swim down, you point the camera down. A lot of people don't like the underwater combat in this game, and I'm kind of one of them. But you do it a lot, and by the time you get the hang of it, it's not so bad.
Most games do not do underwater combat.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do underwater combat well. He says also, make sure you breathe or you'll die.
Thanks, Junior.
Yeah, the tutorial in this game doesn't do a great job at getting you set up for, like, the actual flow of the game. And I feel there's sort of like a downtime, prime time sort of cycle, where the downtime is going out and gathering, materials to use for upgrades. And the prime time is when you hunt big stuff. And you spend more time in the prime time than in the downtime, I would think. Alright, so we're gonna hunt those large fish. They're very dangerous. We must hunt them.
Yeah, they look super dangerous. I don't think the fish are aware there's a second one next to it.
Alright, so they gave us some fishing harpoons before we left. So we're going to use those on them, but first I'm going to play a song underwater. Hunting horn still functions precisely as it does on land when you're in the water. Some weapons have some problems underwater. But first, let's get stuck in an invisible wall.
Those are always the best.
It's really hard to navigate underwater. I'm sorry, it's so hard. So say for example you're using a bow gun of either type.
Alright.
Bow guns have their range cut by a quarter underwater.
That doesn't sound very fun.
Yeah, there's a thing that can make up for it, and I won't do it myself in the LP. But there, like, when we get to the point where I can talk about it, hunting with bow guns, the heavy bow guns specifically, can be kind of ridiculous. I'm not really a gunner type of person. I don't really like using the bow gun or the bows.
You prefer to get up close and personal?
Yeah, I really like. For the longest time, I used the hammer because it's the greatest. But, the artisan is trading that ore we gave him earlier. Well, now we're gonna get an armor sphere in return. And we can use it to upgrade our armor, but we don't need to right now. Also, this is the outfitter. She sells some equipment, but most of the time we're going to be forging it instead. She also is on a quest to determine what the greatest weapon is. Here's a spoiler: all of them are.
She is very into onomatopoeias. Very into onomatopoeias.
Okay, so hey, we're gonna buy some armor.
Cool. What kind of armor?
We're going to buy the Hunter set, which is a set of armor that has appeared in some form or another in practically every Monster Hunter game. And it looks pretty neat, I think.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. Are we wearing it now?
Yeah, we're wearing it right now.
I like our spiked shoulder.
The Hunter set, like I said, since I talked about armor skills earlier, the Hunter set has the skills Psychic, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but like basically what it boils down to is if we hit a monster with a paintball, it shows us precisely what it's doing on the map, instead of just showing us where it's at. So like if a monster limps off and goes to sleep, we'll know if we have it marked with a paintball. Also, I get it because it's basically a reflex at this point, but if we don't pick up a map, it will show the entire map on the touchscreen all the time. Or on the top screen, depending on
It's a
which
good thing
one
to
you
have a map anyway.
Yeah, it's nice to have a map, but eventually you sort of remember the layouts of places, because you're going to be visiting a lot of the same locales a lot. But hey, the guild quest counter is open.
Guild sweetheart.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to her probably the most out of any NPC in the game. We literally cannot go on quests without her. Alright, so we're not allowed to go back into our house after we accept the quest for some reason. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate handled this by putting a box near the exit to each area, so you could store all your stuff afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and store some stuff real quick, because we don't need to carry all this crap. Armor spheres, for example, have no use in the field, so we're going to put those in there. If you're playing a gunner, you have an additional additional page of items reserved exclusively for stuff like ammunition, arrow coatings, that sort of thing. You can also register armor sets, so if you want to, and we're going to do so right now, basically we're going to re-equip our leather armor, and we're going to register a gathering set, because we're going to be using that basically to pick up all the crap we want.
Being able to swap sets sounds pretty handy in a pinch.
So, like, yeah, just whenever you're not on a quest or out in the Mocha Woods, you can come back to your item box and switch directly to a different set. And it'll tell you all your stats, all your skills, and I'm naming it at the moment. So, like, the names can be pretty plain. They can only be 6 characters, so we're going to name this one Gather. And then we're going to put our Hunter set back on. And this is perfect, because I'm going to go ahead and take a quest. Naturally, what's the best time to take off the gathering set when we're going on a quest that involves gathering?
Naturally.
But hey, this set looks cooler.
Well, that's the most important thing.
A lot of this game is about the fashion.
He's a fashion hunter.
So they made us the little green icon over our head. Green quests are gathering quests, gray quests are capture quests, I think, and red quests are slaying quests or hunting quests. Alright, so the Guild Sweetheart's going to tell us how quests work, but I'm going to explain it better. Basically, whenever you start a quest, you have 50 minutes or so to go out and complete the quest objective. You can check your quest objectives by opening the main menu and going to quest status. The blue box contains supply items. Some quests will deliver additional supply items if you complete certain tasks. In this game, there are no subquests, but in other games, these subquests are a thing where basically if you complete those, you get extra supplies. There's a red box where you can deliver items, and we'll be using that in this quest. And more or less, you also get 3 attempts at the quest before you fail it. So if something were to take our health all the way down to 0, we would faint, and we only have 3 attempts.
Was that some editing right there, or?
Yeah, that was me editing out, changing all the panels. You may notice the map is not on screen anymore.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And also our little item pane, not on screen anymore. I'm playing this on a Wii U. Also, I'm really good at hunting horn. Yeah, like, I'm playing this on Wii U, so I like to keep my top screen kind of uncluttered. And if you have the default layout, which is what we chose during character creation, it puts your map, your items, and your health and stamina on the top screen, which kind of gets busy. So I put them down on my touchscreen. You're going to see the map at every loading screen anyway. So don't worry, you'll get to see that. And whenever I switch items, it will actually pull it up the little item pane at the bottom there. So really the only pertinent information to be kept on the main screen is the health and stamina bar. We also have that little, you may notice, a little yellow flashing knife.
Yeah, I've been noticing that.
That's our sharpness, and as we hit enemies, our sharpness will go down. Right now, our maximum sharpness is yellow, which is not great. You know, many things will, like certain enemies, if you hit them under a certain level of sharpness, you will bounce. And that means your attack will only do 1/4 as much damage, and it will reduce your sharpness at twice the rate if it bounces. The highest level of sharpness is purple, and the lowest is red. So yellow is 2 steps above red. We have it goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, white, purple.
So it almost follows the rainbow.
Yeah, and it won't be too long before we get a weapon with green sharpness on it, and eventually we'll be able to get an armor skill that makes our sharpness decrease at half the rate. Sharpness issue in the early game, not so much after like a few missions. They make it a point to get you the stuff you need pretty quick.
It seems kind of odd that our blunt weapon, the hunting horn, uses sharpness.
Well, so does the hammer. But anyway, I think that's about it for now. After a quest, you'll get some rewards on top of the Zenny reward that was promised to you. In this case, we got a whole bunch of mushrooms because we delivered mushrooms. But that's it for now. So, once again, I'm Sloppin' Token.
I'm double negative.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.